think that Lawrence of Arabia was the best. He did fabulous work with those Arabs. No, it was Marco Polo. He was a lot better. He went with the Chinese. Yeah, well, perhaps. Well, you know what I think? I'll tell you who I think was the best. Terak Kota. He was a Persian. He was around about the time of Marco Polo. You believe me? And he went out with Marco Polo and he went down into Cambodia in actual fact. And he belonged to the Pot dynasty. You know, that Pol Pot, Cambodia. Well, there was Pots back in those days as well. So his name was, we took their family name, so he became Terak Kota Pot. And that's where you get the what do you call it? The Terak Kota Pot. Yeah, you know that thing. Well, he actually wrote a treatise which was called Zen and the Art of Gardening. Yeah. And it was so influential that in China and all around about those areas that it was borrowed. You know that fellow, what was his name? Sun Tzu. You know, he did the art of war. He borrowed from terracotta. That, for example, Sun Tzu said victorious warriors win first and then they go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then they seek to win. Well, he got that from old Terak. Yeah, no kidding. You want to go to sleep? You don't want to listen to me? Well, have a little lie down then. You can lie down. Yeah. Oh, that's quite nice. Yeah. Yeah, that Sun Tzu, he was always just sort of saying that if your enemy's asleep, wake him up. If your enemy's tied down, move him on. If your enemy's full fed, starve him. It was just all to do with opposites, you know. Yin and yang, all that, black and white, up and down, in and out. But I suppose Aristotle was influenced by him as well. That, you know, this thesis and antithesis. That there was always these just two options that you could have, either right or wrong. It's the same with gardening. That's the way that terracotta. He was thinking about gardening. I mean, see, when he was talking about companion planting, he said, be extremely subtle, even to the point of formlessness. Be extremely mysterious, even to the point of soundlessness. That's what he said. It was when he was talking about planting carrots along with onions and putting marigolds all over the place to sort of kick up scent so to put the insects off. But he was also he said that in good gardening it all lies in defence. You've got to defend your garden and make sure that bugs don't attack it, animals don't attack it. So good gardening lies in defending what you've got. And the possibility of a victory lies in attack. I think that's quite interesting. You know, that you can't be passive. You can't just put seeds in the ground and expect them to grow. You've actually got to sort of be proactive and do things. Compost tea, compost, all that stuff, manuring, fertilizing, watering, weeding, all that stuff, attacking it. Yeah. I'll tell you another thing he said. The good gardener has a good garden because he makes many calculations in his temple before he starts planting his seed. And the gardener who doesn't plan anything, he'll never have any success. So when you're gardening, you really need to plan for it. And then all this, what do you call that stuff? Phenology, looking at birds coming and blooms coming out, and looking for omens, that's what it is. It advises you against looking for omens and stuff like that. He said that prohibit the taking of omens and do away with superstitious doubts. That certain phases of the moon, to plant your seeds. The old moon sort of pulling out the water from the ground. So Lawrence of Arabia, yeah, he was all right, and Marco Polo, he was okay too, but to my mind, Terak Kota Pot was the best, at least when it comes to gardening. I think he was trying to develop a quantum theory of gardening, and I've been thinking about it myself, that I need to develop a quantum theory. There's this Aristotelian belief that there's right ways of doing things and wrong ways of doing things. That there's always this black and white, no shades of grey. There's just one way you should do it, and if you don't do it that way, then you're wrong. Whereas we should view it as a sort of spectrum. There may be many different ways of doing things. And some way of doing it might be better for you than for somebody else, because you've got different soil conditions. It might be acidic, It's no use trying to plant rhododendrons on chalky ground. You need the ericaceous soil there for rhododendrons. So, and it's this yin and yang and Schrodinger's cat. Yeah, that's it. You put the old cat in the box with a bottle of poison, and you don't know if it's alive or dead. It's only when you observe it, you look at it, you can see whether it's living or not. Or electrons spinning round an atom. It's not any one discrete point in the orbital. It's just sort of a sphere of probability. And that's what it's like with gardening. You put a seed in the ground, for example. You wait, and nothing happens. Then you have to think to yourself, is that seed dead? Did I plant it too soon? Has it been a bean and I put it into the ground too early? Is it dead? Is it a Schrodinger's cat? Has it drunk the poison? Is it dead there in the ground? Or is it alive and it's bound to sprout? Well, what do you do in cases like that? If you wait too long and nothing ever happens, then you wasted your growing season. So I always take the view that you need to sort of view this as a sort of spectrum. And if you plant it and nothing comes up, then it's better to do another planting. When the temperature's better and you get more sunshine and the soil's warmer, then it might come up. But it's all this, well, Aristotle and his thesis and antithesis. It was only when Hegel, he came along and he said that you take the thesis and the antithesis and then you try and sort of bring them together and make a synthesis of them. And then the synthesis becomes the new thesis, and then you have an antithesis to that. Then you sort of bring them together and get a new synthesis, and then that becomes the new thesis, and on, and you somehow perfect your way of gardening by working at that. There's no right way or wrong way of doing it. People can give you advice, but that's what the old, who do you call him? Terak Kota, he said. He also said, quickness is the essence of gardening. Doing things quickly. If you're a lazy man, then that's not a very good option. Yeah. And then one of his most important axioms was that a gardener has to perceive advantages of doing gardening, and that he will get rewards from the things that he's doing. Otherwise, he won't garden. So there has to be rewards. And if there's no rewards from your gardening, it's a waste of time. So those are some of the thoughts of Terak Kota Pot, a Persian who went to Cambodia and then later on to China, who influenced Sun Tzu, who wrote The Art of War. So if you can get your hands on that book, Zen and the Art of Gardening, I would thoroughly recommend it. And Happy New Year to you all. And believe that if you like.